Friday morning, it's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world. Of course, we'll get you updated on things going into the weekend. Of course, everything is kind of hovering around the Iran-U.S. Are there negotiations? Are there not negotiations going on? Kind of hampering the markets here again today, and it's going to do so into the weekend as well. We'll get you updated on that. Stocks we're paying attention to, local and national stories that you need to know, and SRB users, and official, get a little bit of a break this summer. We'll tell you about that coming up as well. And we even have some growth here for the Valley in terms of how we stand to the rest of the nation. Are we still growing at high pace compared to everybody else? We'll have that coming up later in the show as well. But for now, let's get right into that Market Watch. Yep, everything is officially, or at least the Dow, is in correction territory. Everything else is headed that way as well. Another tough morning on the markets here today as well. The S&P 500 is heading for the fifth losing week in a row. It's all based off of President Trump extending the Iran negotiations deadline here this morning. Brent oil tops $110 again, all because of the news that Chinese ships were turned away from the Strait of Hormuz overnight, our time as well. So the April 6th is the new deadline for Trump extending the pause on attacking Iran energy facilities. April 6th is the new date. All of that stuff happening. Then there's even fears now that the markets, they're betting that the next Fed's move won't be a rate cut or even holding steady. The markets now see a Fed's next move as a potential rate hike, all because of inflation fears happening right now. All of that put together this morning, as you can see, tough morning here on the market. Dow Jones down 400, right now 494 points to 45,541. S&P 500 the Dow is officially in correction territory now. The S&P 500 down 69 points to 6419, also in correction territory. The NASDAQ is down 262 points to 21,145. The Russell 2K, the small cap index, 45 points down here today, 2463 for the Russell 2K. So it's going to be one of those Fridays, folks. And then look at this, Bitcoin down 3 percentage points, 3.74% down here today as well. They're down to 184,000 here for Bitcoin today. So just utter sell-off with all of the news I kind of just headlined here for you here this morning. And hey, it's Friday. Let's see what happens. On Monday, we'll probably have a good day because there'll be some announcement over the weekend that'll kind of pump it up there as well. Stocks we're paying attention to right now, well, as you can see, Bitcoin, 3.70% down here today. So let's look at crypto stocks, meaning stocks that are, tied to cryptocurrencies out there. First one will be Strategy. We're going to look at their cryptocurrency treasury company. Well, they're down 4% here this morning as well. So here's the interesting thing, right? Bitcoin's down 3. 2-day total fall for Bitcoin here so far in the last 2 days, 6% down between yesterday and today as of right now. And we're pushing 7% now. As you saw, it was at 3.75% down as well. So everybody with exposure to cryptocurrencies also falling. Robinhood's our next one we're going to look at as well. Robinhood's down 3.94% as well. Digital currencies traded on Robinhood. It's what it's kind of known for as well. And then there's Coinbase, another one of those platforms that the cryptocurrencies are traded at, 5.87% down here today based off of. So they're falling at bigger numbers than what Bitcoin specifically is following at. I did look at Coinbase earlier before the show. A lot, if not all, cryptocurrencies are all down here today as well, with all the news that is happening out there. Later on when we come back, we're going to do it again. I don't like looking at stocks a lot, in concession, unless there's reasons. And folks, memory stocks, we've been talking about them a lot lately. They've been down. We've even looked at them, I think, twice this week. Well, it's going to be a third time here coming up. We're going to look at Micron today, SanDisk, and Western Digital. The ones we're going to look at is memory stocks. Darlings of 2026 to start this year. Not so much now. We'll continue talking about that as well coming up. And We got a couple national reports out here, and now keep in mind this is numbers looking backwards here, but the number of Americans applying for jobless aid, well, it inched up last week. Employers continue to retain workers despite a labor market that has weakened considerably in the past year. U.S. applications for jobless aid for this week, or for last week, excuse me, the week ending March 21st, it rose by 5,000 to 210,000 from the previous week's number of 205,000. We get all this from the Labor Department. They reported this yesterday afternoon. That's right in line with the 210,000 new filings that the analysts were expecting. Filings for unemployment benefits, they're considered representative of U.S. layoffs, and they're close to a real time indicator of the health of the job market. 4 week moving average of jobless claims, that evens out some of the ups and downs that you see in these reportings as well. The 4 week average, well, it dipped by 250 positions. It went to 210,500. The total number of Americans filing for unemployment benefits for the previous week, and that's March 14th, it fell by 32,000 to 1.82 million people at that time as well. So we're still not seeing those large layoff numbers. Although, look, if we wanted to, we focus on the big companies and their big layoffs, but if we wanted to, we could talk layoffs all day, every day here on this program over the last couple of months. But the numbers are not coming in that way, at least in the government reporting side as well. And, we got to talk about tariffs a little bit here, or at least the tariff fight. China has officially launched 2 investigations into U.S. trade practices. They did that here early this morning, which is signaling China's resolve to push back against President Trump's tariffs. Because now, remember that visit? It's been pushed back to May. It was supposed to happen already, but it was pushed back to the May timeframe. I think May 3rd, if I remember correctly. The Commerce Ministry said the new probes are in response to 2 investigations that were announced by President Trump earlier this month against multiple countries. And China was one of those countries that the U.S. is looking into their trade practices. A ministry statement said the 2 Chinese investigations were launched to safeguard the interests of relevant Chinese industries. And then China did express firm opposition to the American investigations. One one of the investigations, they'll examine U.S. policies that restrict Chinese goods from entering the United States, and also that limit U.S. export of advanced technology products to China. Think chips here, right, from NVIDIA, for instance. The other investigation, well, it's focused on barriers to Chinese green energy exports. Both of these probes are expected to take 6 months. They could be extended for another 3 months if necessary at the same time. Keep in mind, their meeting coming up here is in May. The Chinese investigations are the latest back and forth, let's call it, in this multi-year trade war between the U.S. and China as well. And it could be bargaining chips to counter any possible new U.S. tariffs that come out in this negotiation between the two leaders. So tit for tat continues between China and the United States as well. And, look, prices are getting expensive. Inflation's through the roof. Eating out of restaurants or fast food has gotten costly, right? Driving anywhere has gotten costly. So maybe this weekend you want to just hang out at your house, or maybe coming up for the next couple months, just hang at your house, maybe snuggle up under your air conditioning vent and watching some Netflix. Well, even that's getting a little bit more expensive for you. Netflix has announced. Do you hear that? You hear that hesitation breath I just took there? Sorry, I got to do this to you guys on a Friday, but blame Netflix, not the messenger. Netflix has announced a price increase for U.S. subscribers. Well, it's first one since January of 2025. I guess we should be happy about that. Which is an interesting timing because it comes a day after Netflix, of course, hosted the MLB's opening day game between the New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giants on Wednesday night. Netflix will increase its monthly price of its ad-supported tier. It's going to go up by $1. It's going to go up to $8.99 per month. I'll have all the tiers here in just a moment here. But the other ad-free plans, well, they're basically going to increase by $2 a month here coming up as well. 325 million subscribers pay for Netflix as of this time. That's as of January, I should say. So a month ago, Netflix dropped its attempt to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, because if that would have gone through, it would have been a bigger price increase coming your way. and everything. So Netflix. So if you don't have Netflix now, but you want to sign up to watch something, for a month or two before you drop it. So new Netflix members who sign up, you'll see the new monthly prices starting March 26th, which is yesterday, I believe. Yes, it is. So yesterday you would have seen those increases. Over the coming weeks, current members, you'll be notified by email a month in advance before your new prices go into effect. It's all because of their billing, their billing time frame, your billing cycle is why it might take a month or so for that to be implemented. Coming up here as well. So here's the increases. The standard tier with advertisements, well, it's going to go to $8.99. It was at $7.99 before as well. So under the standard tier though, you can watch in HD and most movies, TV shows, and the games, NFL, baseball games, etc. Well, they are available to you on that as well, under that tier. The standard ad-free tier, $19.99 per month now moving forward. It was at $17.99 before. You can watch in HD, unlimited ad-free movies, TV shows, and games. You can watch and download on 2 supported devices at a time. Yeah, there is an option to add one extra member who doesn't live with you if you'd wanted to moving forward, and that's even going up. The premium tier, well, now it's $26.99 per month. That was at $22.99 before. That's the $4 increase for the premium tier. Watching 4K, HDR, unlimited ad-free movies, TV shows, and games with spatial audio. You can watch on 4 supported devices with this tier and download on 6 at a time. Option to add up to 2 extra members who don't live with you for $26.99, a $4 increase. If you want to add that extra non-household member to your plan, well, that increases by $1 also. So now it's $7.99 a month. Yeah, that's a plan with ads. It's $7.99 a month. If you're adding it to one of the other plans, it's $9.99 a month moving forward. So Netflix, even getting more expensive to sit at home under your air conditioner and watch Netflix, folks, here coming up as well. Hey, a company, they made a mistake. They admitted to making the mistake, but they got a lot of business out of it also, but stressed out their workers. This was back in February. Five Guys ran a promotion, and they're thanking their employees for putting up with it, and also thanking them for their hard work. As another promotion similar is coming out here in May coming up, but Five Guys itself, the hamburger chain, well, it's rewarding their employees after that unexpectedly overwhelming promotion. Put extra heavy pressure on store crews, stressful interactions with them as well. Well, Five Guys said it's distributing about $1.5 million in bonuses to workers, and it was all because of that buy one, get one deal that happened back on February 17th. It was launched to celebrate Five Guys' 40th anniversary, and folks, it not only exceeded expectations, it took them and grabbed them by the horns and ran away with with the expectations as well. The CEO there told Fortune magazine he wrote 1,500 bonus checks. He acknowledged the company underestimated demand and wanted to recognize employees for handling the giant surge. Here's what he said to Fortune. The promotion spread far beyond what we anticipated, and our hardworking crews were placed in difficult situations. Now, he said this in a statement about a month ago, but going back and looking at kind of how he handled it in the moment was professional and well done. Now the bonus checks are coming, these employees as well. The company, it was such a successful promotion. The company, some locations ran out of food. Some had to close early for a myriad of reasons. They had experienced online ordering issues, and I'm sure upset customers as well, right? For them there, and the employees just handled it at least to the expectations or as best they could there for Five Guys. Five Guys went on to say, the CEO went on to say, we also want to recognize the incredible men and women working in our restaurants. They handled it with the same grit and determination and dedication that has defined Five Guys for 4 decades. So bonuses out there because of the unintended stress. Another promotion is coming out here in the beginning of May, folks, for Five Guys. So we'll see how that works out as well for them. So look, a CEO rewarding his employees for the unintended stress of them customers put on them because of that promotion. I think that in this day and age, A lot of layoffs happening and a lot of other issues out there. I think that's fantastic for five guys to do that as well. And let's get into the sports side of thing, right? Major League Baseball, of course, Wednesday night was opening day. A lot of home openers yesterday. Diamondbacks got underway at Dodger Stadium, playing in today as well. But let's talk a little bit about jersey sales out there. And it should be no surprise to you, Shohei Ohtani there of the Dodgers. Yeah, he is the biggest selling jersey sales going into opening day, and it's the third straight season he's been number one. But then his partner on the team, his teammate, also number two, Yamamoto, who pitched last night for the Dodgers against the Diamondbacks. He came in second place in jersey sales. Shouldn't be a surprise because, of course, Japanese players and the country of Japan really supports these guys out there. New York Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge comes in next, and then Cal Raleigh, the catcher there up in Seattle, follows up next. But they're not the only two Dodgers there, 1 and 2. Yeah, Dodgers shortstop Mookie Betts came in the top five as well for that. So all these listings came out ahead of opening day. By the way, 3 years for Shohei Ohtani at number one. You had to go back and look. Atlanta outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr., well, he was the last player other than Ohtani to top the list. He actually led at the 2023 All-Star break. Then Ohtani took over that by the end of the season. And, of course, has finished first in 3 consecutive years, as I told you earlier. Hey, there's a Diamondback on this list, and a new Diamondback who was a St. Louis Cardinal, Nolan Arenado. Yeah, he came in on this list there as well. Then you got Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman. Then you got Pete Alonso, who's with Baltimore's first baseman. Boston outfielder Roman Anthony. And Chicago Cubs outfielder who just got a big contract extension, Pete Crow Armstrong, came in next on that list as well. Cal Raleigh, the Seattle, who had 60 home runs last year as a catcher and had a very good year. It was him and Anthony's. They were in the top 10 for the first time ever after their really successful seasons last year as well. So how do they track this? I'll just let you know. It's track sales on Fanatic sites, so places like MLBshop.com and the Fanatic sites out there. And it's all since the end of last year's World Series, which that's why you see a lot of Dodgers in there. One, the Japanese connection, but then two, they won the World Series the last 2 years. So that's why you see Mookie Betts and a lot of Dodgers, Freddie Freeman on that list there in the top 10 as well. And folks, when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we'll keep the show rolling here on this Friday. We got to get into some local stuff here. We got to look at these memory stocks as well. We got to get ready to roll into the main event coming up live, 8 to 10 a.m. here coming up here on this Friday. Come back and join us, would you? McCollum on Business, Friday edition. And we're back here. McCollum on Business on Friday. Not a lot of good news here on this Friday, but there is good news. The main event's coming up next. Dale Hillistry, he was going to be off today, Well, he's coming in from 8 to 9 o'clock here today. He's got a Hall of Fame golf thing going on this weekend at his men's club. I was going to take the whole day off. Texted me last night, said, I'm coming in from 8 to 9. Bruce Cooper's coming in today as well. He's scheduled to as well to come in and up past the second hour. So busy main event day with Arizona winning last night. Diamondback season getting underway and then getting you ready for the weekend as well. First weekend of Major League Baseball season coming up. So join us on the main event live 8 to 10. Of course, on demand, like all of our shows are. As soon as I get done here at McCollum on Business, goes up on the YouTube channel for you. TME Media AZ is where you can find our programming. Share us with your friends as well. The shows that we produce and we put out go on that YouTube page, TME Media AZ. Follow TME Media AZ on Twitter as well. On X, it's just the parent company, and we'll be putting out news around the company on those pages. Of course, you could follow the main event on Twitter as well. Just TME Sports Show is where you can find it on X. Follow us there. The Pit Stop, new episode this week, looking back at Darlington, looking ahead to this weekend. IndyCar gets underway in Alabama this weekend after their off week. This weekend, Martinsville here for the NASCAR boys as well. We got the Pit Stop up yesterday as well, so that's on demand right now and on the YouTube page. Free podcast system for that as well. Just type in the Pit Stop Talk or the Pit Stop with Stephen McCollum or Stephen, and it pops right up for you on your favorite podcast system on that YouTube page, TME Media AZ, also there for you. Every week, a new episode comes your way in the racing world as well. And then, folks, well, we got the Real Matrix today, 10 a.m. here on Real Bad TV. New episode releases. Then on not on YouTube for that show. That show has moved over to Rumble.com. Got a YouTube alternative there for those of you more familiar with that. Rumble.com/user/TME Media, where you can find the Real Matrix there. We will be posting some sports stuff coming up there as well. Just on demand stuff, just because we're utilizing Rumble for the Real Matrix show. So that's there at noon today. Podcast system, just search the Real Matrix Angry Patriots. It comes up for you. And then also on the Rumble page, that posts at noon today for the new episode coming your way as well. And folks, we appreciate all of your support. Share us with your friends out there as well. Got some more things coming your way here around what we do on the production side. We do produce some shows that we aren't able to put out. They're owned by other entities, and but we still produce them and things. It's fun to be here. It's place it rocking and rolling here after we get off the air and everything. So we could do that for you as well. Just reach out and show you the program that we have and work with you to get that stuff done. And look, I want to talk about anything but the market here this morning, as it's been a tough morning, but that's what we do here, and got to be the bearer of bad news today. So let's get into that Market Watch. Obviously, nothing's changed in the last 25 minutes since the market. We looked at the market at the top of the show. It's been open for just under an hour now as well. President Trump moved the Iran extension to April 6th. Obviously, has not sued the market here today, as they're a little upset about that as well. Brent oil topped $110 this morning. Chinese ships were turned away from the Strait of Hormuz. Markets now see the Fed's next move. Well, it potentially could be a rate hike coming up because of inflation fears out there, because of everything happening. Now you've got China doing these probes into trading practices, getting ready for the two presidents to meet up here coming up in May after the delay here. They are supposed to meet, now the delay. All of that's just feeding into the market, and the market, well, is way down as well. So Dow it was in correction territory. Technically, by numbers, it has come back out of correction territory because it's coming back a little bit, but it's still down 467 points right now here this morning. The S&P 500 is down to 64 points. Nasdaq's down 260 points, and then the Russell 2K, 39 points down for that small cap index as well. Bitcoin, big drop here. It's over 4% down here today now. It's getting worse as the day goes on. 65,882 for Bitcoin. That's why we looked at those stocks tied to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in the first half of the show. It was to see they're also big down today as well. And look, we've talked a lot about these memory stocks out there. They're the darlings of the stock market to start 2026. Not so much now either. So let's look at Micron as our first stock here in this segment. They're actually up 1.20% right now. I can tell you here as the market was opening right before pre-marketing, it was down 2% as well. But they've been getting hit a lot lately here. So this 1.30% that it's at right now after the market's open, kind of a surprise here for Micron Technology as well. Here's the interesting thing about Micron. Yes, it's up 1.30%. Like I said, pre-market it was down 2. But why did I choose this stock in the memory stocks to look at? Well, yesterday when it closed on Thursday, this stock has been down 22% in just 6 trading sessions officially now. So today, at least it's up this morning nominally, but it has been down huge over the last 6 trading sessions for Micron Technology. SanDisk is next up here on the list we're looking at here today, also up 3.55%, which is kind of funny because, like I said, in pre market trading, when I was looking at this and getting it ready, and when the market opened, believe it or not, these stocks were all down and having another down day. Well, now they're all up here, right? SanDisk have 3.44% hour into market trading. Sometimes trading makes you look stupid when you're looking at it beforehand, and an hour later you're looking at it again. Yeah, Western Digital's the next stock that we're going to look at here as well. Let's see if Western Digital makes me look dumb. Yes, it does. 1.61% up right now after the market open. That was also down 2.3% in pre-market as these stocks have been falling. And they were falling yesterday and the day before. We've been focusing on these stocks a lot lately as well. But hey, this morning at least it's turned to the positive side for these 3 stocks. Now they're all way down. I told you the Micron one down 22% over the last 6 trading days before today. So these stocks have been pummeled here after being the darlings of the 2026 market, meaning they were way up earlier in the year. So interesting revival here on a Friday morning for these memory stocks as well. And I can tell you with oil hitting $110, Brent oil hitting $110 this morning. Well, energy names are obviously going up again today. Phillips 66, Diamond Energy, ExxonMobil, all up here this morning. EOG Resources because oil prices shooting up to that $110 dollars per barrel as well this morning. So oil stocks tied to oil are up today as well in terms of that industry. And now, maybe some relief here. We just told you you're paying more for Netflix here coming up. Well, maybe your electric bill can give you some relief this summer as well, because officially now, Salt River Project, SRP, they've announced it's temporarily reducing its rates by the summer electricity bills by that 3%. We told you earlier they were suggesting it had to be voted on. Well, the utility now says that this rate cut will result in bills being about $5.50 lower on average during the hottest months of the year. Great. So my bill will only be, $530 instead of $540. Just kidding, folks. Maybe. SRP's board of directors approved the decrease, which is what we were waiting on, and it's through May through October is the time frame on this 3% decrease coming up as well. So I told you before when they announced this and said it has to go to vote, but they announced they wanted to do it. They had said at that time they're able to pass on savings to customers during this time frame, thanks to that higher than expected retail sales and lower than expected natural gas and power costs that they've experienced. SRP says it will be monitoring its full fuel purchasing program to see if future adjustments will be necessary as well. And with fuel prices what they are, I'm not sure we'll see another decrease here coming up. If anything, we might see an increase coming up based off of the gas prices out there right now as well. So it is official that SRP cut here for those of us in SRP territory, 3% reduction there, May through October coming up here this year. And the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, we told you yesterday that they were going to issue fuel waivers across the nation. Which they're hoping could ease the gas levels here coming up across the country, but specifically here in Arizona as well. The fuel waiver will allow states to use a fuel blend that is typically restricted during the summer. Remember, we have our own special blend here in Arizona that raises that cost up as well, and we get our fuel in Maricopa County from California. Another issue there as well. So those rules are now relaxed here as of yesterday. The EPA waivers, well, but it doesn't. They're relieved here, but not until May 1st is when these waivers will go into effect. They'll last for that 2 weeks here coming up. But they could be extended if they need to be. They're leaving that option open as well. So how much it's going to affect gas here, specifically here in Arizona, because that is a big cost of our gas prices, along with the war in Iran and other items, is our special blend that costs more, and plants have to make it, refineries have to make it, etc. As well. But they're expected to at least come down slightly. How much, we're not at 100% sure. But the interesting thing about these waivers through the EPA is, man, Arizona governors and Arizona legislature people, they are running to the podium to take credit for this waiver here from the EPA, which, by the way, is nationwide as well. So, Katie Hobbs, our governor, she requested a fuel waiver back on March 18th. Her administration also requested waivers in 2023 and 2024, which also were granted, by the way. Katie Hobbs did note on social media that she reached out to EPA administrator. His name's Lee Zeldin. She reached out to him to kind of plead her case here. But also, not just her taking credit for this, members on both sides of the aisle, right? Republicans and Democrats here, they are also running to the podium to say they too requested EPA waivers here to help Arizona. They took some of the credit from the nationwide waivers as well, the Arizona politicians are. So, just a side note here on that. Yeah, politicians here in Arizona are just running for the credit for the nationwide waivers and what's coming down the pipeline as well. Now, if there's not a big cut coming up in gas prices, you'll see them back off that credit pretty quickly. But we'll have to keep our eyes on that. And we have official numbers here on the growth level here of Arizona. And the Valley actually saw slower growth here in 2025 than it did in 2024, but it did add 60,000 people roughly between July 1st of 24 and July 1st of 2025. So these are federal numbers that we get here from the U.S. Census Bureau. And this is the Metro Level 2025 Vintage Estimates that was released yesterday. So it shows the total population increase for the Phoenix Mesa Chandler Metropolitan Statistical Area. Well, the increase was 1.14% during that July 1st to July 1st timeframe. That's a drop, by the way, because before it was at 1.62% growth during the previous year. So July 1st, 24 to July 1st, 2025. So a little bit of a drop, but numbers are still big. I'll tell you why here. The Valley's population rose by 59,065 people. It's the fourth highest increase in the U.S. So now it's at 5.228938. So 5,228,938 people by July 1st, 2025. We're the 10th most populous metro in the nation. So New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., Miami, and Philadelphia are the ones that have the larger populations out there. But only Dallas and Houston had growth rates that actually surpassed Phoenix in 2025. Dallas had a growth rate of 1.48%, and Houston had 1.63% growth rates. Only Dallas, Houston, and Atlanta added more people by raw numbers as well. Meanwhile, if you want to go to California, Los Angeles, they're a big reason we have migration here into the Phoenix area. They lost residents at a rate of 0.48% just in Los Angeles. These metro population figures fall largely in line with the Census Bureau's state-level vintage 25 estimates that were released in January. Those did show Arizona at number 7 in the nation for numeric growth and number 8 for percentage growth as well. Like I said, we are slowing down, but we're still more populous than everywhere else with people coming down here as well. And the slowdown, by the way, here in Arizona, the slight slowdown, well, it reflected the national trend as well. But Phoenix, as I said, does continue to outpace and outgrow the nation's growth rate. The nation's growth rate went from 0.96% in 2024 to 0.52% in 2025. Phoenix was the growth rate was the 11th fastest among 56 metros with more than 1 million residents. So what is happening in a lot of these metros? Well, a huge drop. Not a small drop, a huge, fast, Straight down drop if you look at a graph here. International migration has obviously slowed down here in the United States, and that's what's hurting everybody in the migration side of things. In the Phoenix metro, the number of new residents from other countries, it was 25,543 fewer than the 48,833 who came into the valley in 2024. So I'm not a mathematician here, but over half, right, of the people, well over 50% migration drop in international people coming to the valley. And that is a trend, by the way, nationwide as well. So international migration into Phoenix, though, still registered higher than domestic migration in 2025. And that's even after domestic influx increased by 892 people, which came to a total of 22,256 in 2025. So we're still growing. We're growing at a slower rate, like the rest of the nation is, but it's the international side of things that is the bigger issue here. As now, the if you want to look specifically at other major changes, well, births and deaths out there as well. Together, they comprise a measure called natural change. So it's not people moving; it's who's born, who dies. Births outpaced deaths here in the Phoenix as well in Arizona. 56,215 births, only 43,046 people died as well. So that is a total of 13,169 additions to the valley's population. That was in 2024. More people died than were born here as well because the drop. So 13,169 was the positive. I said that backwards. Was the births over deaths? Well, it was at 14,548 in 2024. So more births than deaths at a higher level there. More births, less death, I should say, in terms of the difference here in those numbers. If I can get that stat, talking about positive and negative in that context blows my brain here. So as well, the new figures though also show that the valley's population has increased by 7.25% since 2020. A cumulative population increase of 377,643. Domestic migration has led that charge. 195,135 residents coming from elsewhere within the United States. 127,758 people coming from other countries as well. This is all from 2020. Natural change, which is the births, the deaths, showed 55,364 more births than deaths in the valley since 2020 as well. So some statistical numbers of what we're looking at here in the Arizona marketplace and the Phoenix area, I should say, here in terms of our growth and what it's doing out there, and specifically compared to other partial United States nationwide as well. And folks, we made it through the Friday here as well here at McCollum on Business. Appreciate you joining me all week long. We'll be back on Monday. McCollum on Business, 7 a.m. as well. Come and join us. We're going to roll into the main event here, 8 to 10. Folks, don't forget, Pit Stops on Demand, Real Matrix, new episode today. Catch that on Rumble, of course, free podcast system, along with our programming as well. Share us with your friends over the weekend when you're together with them. Stay safe, stay cool this weekend. We'll see you on Monday, folks.